In a recent interview with Disney, Mark Hamill talked about his character Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, including where Luke is mentally, and his line, "The Jedi must end."
You're fulfilling your destiny.
This was a pretty serious interview, and Mark's answers have either solidified or changed some of my theories on Luke in The Last Jedi. First, Mark is adamant that Luke's personality that we saw in the original trilogy hasn't really changed. He said, "Actually, I don't think Luke's fundamental personality has changed, except that he is older and his life experiences have shaped his outlook the same way they do for all of us." So Luke is probably still that optimistic man that always wants to do the right thing. He's just a little more cautious now. Yeah, he's still gonna do the right thing, he just might not jump into it like he once did. And as happy as I am about Luke's core personality being the same in The Last Jedi, I think the most important thing Mark Hamill talked about was Luke being dark or darker in The Last Jedi. Mark Hamill was very clear that Luke has not gone to the dark side. He stated, "In Star Wars The Force Awakens, Luke has lost confidence in his ability to make good choices. It haunts him to the core, but he hasn't gone to the dark side. This isn't an evil version of him, but it is still an incarnation of the character I never expected. It has pulled me out of my comfort zone. It's a real challenge." So Luke hasn't fallen to the dark side, but I think most of us didn't really believe that, but more he found a balance between the light and the dark. Instead, he's broken in a way by the betrayal of Ben Solo. His choices and how he trained his nephew led to the death of so many people. Regardless of it being Ben's choice, it has to haunt Luke. Wouldn't you question your choices after your nephew turned to the dark side and destroyed everything you spent your life building? Wouldn't it haunt you? You thought you were doing the right thing, and it all blows up in your face. I could see him being very unsure about training someone else, especially someone as powerful as Rey. And Mark not believing he'd ever see this version of Luke, I feel like a lot of people are with him. I personally don't like this Luke that I've seen so far, but I'm willing to wait and see where it goes. Next on Luke's line, "It's time for the Jedi to end," he was a bit evasive, but his answer was still interesting. He told Disney Insider, "I'm sure this line is a great shock to the audience, so you can imagine how I felt. This is a huge change for a character who once represented optimism and hope. It's a radical decision to drop out of everything he's ever believed in." The entire movie is filled with these kinds of jaw-dropping surprises, but you'll just have to see the film itself to discover what they are. I have to imagine this line is about the Jedi of old he tried so hard to copy. We know Luke was desperate to find any artifacts, knowledge, just anything whatsoever about the old Jedi Order. He may have been sure about his decision to bring back the old Jedi Order, but then once the Jedi almost all died out again, maybe he felt like the Force was giving him a wink wink nudge nudge. You need to do something different. As for his talks on the movie being full of jaw-dropping surprises, I know people would be pissed off if they brought in Mara Jade, who was killed off with no screen time, but part of me is hoping he did fall in love and that the woman died or was killed by Kylo. That would be a huge jaw-dropping surprise and cement to me that Kylo will sacrifice himself to be redeemed in the end, like his grandfather was. Lastly, despite other things we've heard Mark say, he said that he believes in Rian Johnson, the director of The Last Jedi, and his judgment 100%, which I feel is a little reassuring for those of us who heard Mark's earlier statements on Rian Johnson and what he did to his character Luke Skywalker. Now, could this be a PR thing? Absolutely. I've seen some interviews where Mark and Kathleen Kennedy are in the same room together, and Mark says something, and Kathleen gives him a look like, "You fucked up." So maybe they kind of reined him in a little bit. Alright, so what do you think about this interview? Has it changed, maybe solidified some of your own theories on Luke? Let me know in the comment section down below.
Thanks so much for watching. Please like the video and subscribe for more Star Wars videos.